Yo, welcome to Hard Pass. I am your host, Jacques Slade. We've got a recap of NBA All-Star Weekend from all sides, a bit of a rant about sneaker brands' output for Black History Month, the week's hottest releases, this week's Hard Pass, and make sure you stay tuned to the end if you want to actually call me and leave your own Hard Pass for next week's episode. All right. Let's start with our recap of NBA All-Star Weekend. Man, that was every bit the nostalgia trip that I expected it to be as the league celebrated its 75th anniversary with the pomp and circumstance that it deserved. Seeing all of those legends in the same place warmed my heart. Even if the attendance wasn't at 100% as some players opted not to appear either for health reasons or possibly petty concerns, Scottie Pippen, while others are no longer with us. Not gonna lie, when they showed Kobe on that screen and then cut to Vanessa, man, the emotions just came pouring in again. But that halftime show is right up there with the other great All-Star halftime shows of the past, such as the 50th anniversary show back in 1997 or the year that Mariah Carey showed up in that Michael Jordan jersey dress. Twice. Man. Anyway, here are a couple of thoughts coming out of All-Star Weekend. I know people are talking about LeBron James hijacking All-Star Weekend thanks to various quote bombs he's dropped during the press conferences. But I just want to say we here at Hard Pass don't really give a shit. He got us a championship in 2020. Sure, if that's all we got out of this 4 or 5 year partnership, it'll be a little disappointing. But if the goal was always to deliver us number 17, well, LeBron finished the job. I'll take that after Kobe's injury-riddled final years and the subsequent Ryan Kelly, Swaggy P, and Bob Sacra era. If he wants to go back to Cleveland to finish his career or play for whatever team Bronny lands, I'll be the first to say thanks to the king. Let him get his hot takes off about general managers from other teams and whatever mind games he wants to play with the Lakers front office. What I do care about is Michael Jordan, the GOAT, showing up to the halftime show like Stone Cold Steve Austin in the final minutes of an episode of Monday Night Raw in the 90s to the biggest crowd pop. And in Cleveland, of all places, he gave that city so many nightmares, and yet they love him like he was Mark Price. Crazy, man. Not only did he get the loudest applause, he was also lighting up NBA Twitter with clips of him hugging Luka Doncic, challenging Magic Johnson to a game of one-on-one, and in what might be the biggest swerve of the night, having a casual conversation with LeBron James. I half expected them to do that whole, "What's up, big dog? Not much, just trying to get on your level, man." You know, that little bit that we all do when we're around our friends. You wouldn't know that the two have actually never really had that much of an interaction, at least in public. A handshake here, a dap there, and that's about it. Maybe there's an ulterior motive for the two to finally come together and we don't know about it yet, but I want to believe it's just two GOATs finally realizing in light of recent events that life is too short to have a weird passive-aggressive relationship that just fuels internet fights. Seriously, if this moment was a wake-up call for all the Jordan stans who dislike LeBron to appreciate greatness while it's still there, or it's just to shut them the hell up, it'll be the best thing that both men ever do. Okay, let's talk sneakers. A few weeks ago, we talked about our disappointment on the lack of sneaker build-up to the All-Star game and how it's been part of a trend for the past few years. This year gave us many examples as to why the brands were right to quietly lower expectations, because there was nothing on the court this year that I think we'll look back on and remember fondly like we do the Jordan 11 Columbia or KD4 Galaxy or even the Yeezy basketball. Like, you would think reigning NBA champion and finals MVP Giannis Antetokounmpo would have some never-before-seen Zoom Freak 3 heat, but instead, it was a red pair from the Uno pack that debuted earlier this season. Zach LaVine is unofficially a New Balance guy at the moment, and he wore a special colorway of the two-way instead of debuting the Kawhi 2. That honor went to celebrity Jack Harlow, or Harlow Jack, or Low Jack Harjack. You know who I'm talking, that guy. DeMar DeRozan didn't break out the new Kobe heat, but props to him for bringing back the awesome Argentina PE that's an homage to Manu Ginobili. All-Star Game MVP Steph Curry wore another Curry Flow 9 from his Sesame Street collab, while my non-retro fave ended up being LaMelo Ball rocking a purple and teal pair of his Puma MB-01s. Cole Anthony's Timbs can't be the highlight. Can it? No offense to Timberland because it's a funny bit that will live on forever, but we need basketball shoes to pop off. Who knows? Maybe 2023 will come along and make 2022 look amazing in comparison. We'll just have to wait and see, I guess. And finally, the Nike LeBron 19 Chosen One. Or should I say, the lack of an appearance for the Nike LeBron 19 Chosen One. For reasons that we still aren't clear on, LeBron did not wear his current signature shoe for the big game. He did debut the Nike LeBron 19 low during All-Star practice on Saturday, so he gets partial credit, I guess. But for the actual Sunday showcase, he wore the Nike LeBron 9 Big Bang like he did 10 years ago, the LeBron 9 Reverse LeBron Palmer sample for a few minutes, and then he finished the game in the Nike LeBron Ambassador 13, a shoe that he's been rocking since 2020 as he took the winning fadeaway. So this marks the first time that James did not wear his current signature shoe during the league's signature event. Even in 2014, when he had his infamous issues with the Nike LeBron 11, he still gutted it out and wore his All-Star pair from that year. It's especially curious as to why he wouldn't wear the 19 because it's not like we've heard complaints or rumbling about the shoe's performance. Judging from the videos and social media chatter I've seen from people I trust, the reviews for how they feel on the court have been good. It has, however, been criticized for its lack of aesthetic appeal, especially prior to release. We had some things to say about the 19 and the LeBron line as a whole as well, talking about how it would make sense for LeBron's design team to take a year or two off the project and let them handle another signature athlete while a Leo Chang or a Tinker Hatfield took over the reins for a spell. Still, James has worn the 19 for a number of games this season while alternating with the Ambassador 13 and the LeBron 8 and 9 retros. It makes sense for him to spread the sneaker time during the regular season because he has to sell the entire catalog, from the fans who want the latest and greatest to the older heads who missed out on the big bangs the first time around to the overseas crowd who saw LeBron wear the Ambassadors during his many tours around Asia. I just wonder what the thinking was as to why he wouldn't wear the chosen 119s to Cleveland, especially since that shoe was an homage to his journey from Akron to Los Angeles. Maybe he's seen the critiques of the 19 ever since Space Jam: A New Legacy and thought he didn't want to catch the jokes on the NBA's marquee game. Could there be issues with the shoe itself, and anybody who caught the sneakers scratch drop on the app should be worried when they get their pair? I don't know. Just thinking out loud here, what do you think about the NBA's 75th anniversary show and the sneakers on display? Also, Colin Kaepernick. Anyway, it's time for the Heat Check, where we bring you our faves dropping this week. We have the Adidas Pat Mahomes Impact Flex on the 28th for $130, the Undercover Nike Dunk High Black on the 28th for $150, the Nike Hot Step Air Terra in white on the 3rd, the JJJ Jound, I don't even know how to say that, New Balance 993 V3 on the 3rd for $250, the Jordan 6 UNC on the 5th for $210, the Yeezy Boost 350 V2 MX Blue on the 5th for $230, and then there are a bunch of Yeezy slides I'll probably never wear or really can afford that'll be restocking on March 7th. Good luck with that. All right. For our Yeezy of the week, we have the Adidas Yeezy Boost 350 V2 Onyx. It's going to be on the 5th for $230. And according to Bulbapedia, Onyx, with an I, is a Pokemon composed of a giant chain of gray boulders that become smaller towards the tail. Its length makes it the tallest rock-type Pokemon. It has black eyes and a rounded snout. Inside its brain is a magnet that serves as an internal compass, guiding them wherever they need to go and prevents them from getting lost while digging. And then our pick of the week is the Air Jordan 1 Low Golf in University Blue. This is going to be on the 4th for $140. It's a Carolina Blue week since we're also getting the UNC Air Jordan 6, but this one is made for the links. And really, if you wear these off the golf course, is anyone really going to notice? I took the spikes off of my Nike TW15s and not once has anybody called me out at the Trader Joe's. Look, all I'm saying is that these Jordan 1 Low Golfs are going to be hotter than a Phil Mickelson walkback apology, and you should get them if you can. But now, a heat check on Nike's Black History Month offerings and, well, the Sneaker World's offerings in February. And yes, it is Black History Month, not Black Future Month like someone suggested. The only way we can look towards the future is by learning about our past critically, embracing those lessons and making sure we never allow ourselves to fall back or let others dictate what our place is. Anyway, for the past 2 decades, brands have used Black History Month as a platform to show their commitment to the accomplishments and contributions Black athletes and creators have made, which, if you look at it through the lens of sneaker culture, is pretty sizable. Early on, it was Nike Air Force Ones with a Pan-African flag in the mid-2000s. The reception to the release was positive, so there were a few more that dropped every year, which led to an all-black and gold Air Jordan 3 in 2011 with subtle changes from elephant print to laser-etched graphics. By the following year, Nike Basketball was fully on board, paying homage to legendary teams like the 96 USA women's basketball squad and the 2008 Kenyan long-distance runners. The Kobe 7 and KD 4 were predominantly black but used colorful accents to signify Kenyan beads and Black American quilts. In 2013, sneakerheads started to expect a yearly rollout of Black History Month sneakers, beginning with the annual Martin Luther King Jr. Day games, and Nike obliged with a not entirely dissimilar release, but this time it had bright orange highlights. Why? Well, because in Nike words, the color orange is particularly meaningful with its bold hue and ties to Nike's DNA since its 1972 inception. That's a little tenuous, but we'll let it slide. 2014 was more of the same, but yo, purple. Wow. Side note, there is a 2014 Nike Kobe 8 Black History Month that never made it to retail. That's not the purpose of the segment. Control yourself, Jacques. Where was I? Okay, 2015. 2015 would mute the color, bring it back in 2016, mute it again, 2017, and so on and so on and so forth. This year, Nike looks to the future with Air Force One lows designed by promising young Black athletes in sports like fencing and hockey. The brand, along with Jordan and Converse, also announced this year's recipients for their $140 million Black Community Commitment Pledge, including Big Brothers and Sisters of America and the Equal Justice Initiative, while also pledging $2.75 million to smaller organizations in cities across the country. Those are certainly higher numbers than in 2012, when they gave an undisclosed amount to Big Brothers Big Sister in 2014, with net proceeds up to $1 million would go to a fund that they set up. Now, as for Adidas, they honored legendary athletes with ties to the brand in the past, like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Arthur Ashe. And they also caught a lot of bad press for releasing and then pulling back an all-white uncaged Ultra Boost. Since the mishap in 2019, the focus became less on the product and more on their efforts to connect with Black activists and athletes. Puma? Well, they've taken a similar route with Tommy Smith and John Carlos and Walt Clyde Frazier, but thankfully managed to avoid releasing, say, an all-white MB-01. Under Armour and Steph Curry? Well, let's be real here. Steph Curry unveils a Black History Month signature shoe yearly while teaming with Black creators and HBCUs to tell the story of the Black experience. And I know that's a lot to take in the past decade or so, man, but there have been successes, mostly on the outreach side, as brands have gone from giving pithy contributions to establishing funds that have a real chance to make a difference. Black creators are also given a chance to shine and get their dreams out there for the world to see. I honestly hadn't noticed Under Armour's efforts this year until I saw a beanie worn by Mick Schumacher, yes, the son of F1 racing legend Michael Schumacher, wearing a beanie that said, "Black Liberation, Worldwide Aspiration." Seeing that and finding out that it's part of a collection led by Black creators with a Black lead and Derek Turner was cool. But there have also been missteps, like what Adidas thought it could pull off, and the yearly churn of sneakers that are well-meaning but don't inspire a lot of wonder and amazement. When I first started to notice Nike and other brands taking an interest in Black History Month in the early 2010s, I was glad but also apprehensive. I hope it wasn't just a gimmick to show that they were down for the cause or something like that. Then, in the middle of the decade, it started to feel like a gimmick, with the shoes debuting during MLK Day and dropping at the start of February. From my perspective, the brands were treating MLK Day to All-Star Weekend as their, quote, Black History Month window, and now LeBron, KD, Kyrie, and Giannis don't even have Black History Month releases. The last one Nike announced was in 2020, and those were player exclusives. If the energy is going to be focused on doing more for us in the real world, then great. But it'd be nice if we saved some of that energy for the sneakers and the rest of us too. All right, it's time for this week's Hard Pass, where we take a look at something in the culture that just needs to go, like the upcoming Air Jordan 1 Bred Mid, reportedly dropping in kid sizes. Why? You know why. Show the picture. That's terrible. Anyway, this week, Hard Pass goes to Mutants and Mephisto. Yo, give it up, man. We are not going to get Mutants and Mephisto and Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Ever since the Disney Plus MCU TV shows started popping up, we have been getting rumors and speculation that either the Mutants or Mephisto was coming. It was, quite frankly, the most annoying part of the fandom that doesn't involve actual harassment. Marvel successfully pranked everybody when the Quicksilver surprise in WandaVision turned out to be a boner of a troll, but that didn't stop the fan theories that mutants might be in Falcon and the Winter Soldier, or that Mephisto was the big bad in Loki, and or Spider-Man No Way Home. We got a little bit of a lull in the Eminem chatter during Eternals and Shang-Chi, but it's picking up again in the Multiverse of Madness. It didn't help matters that the faceless voice that was heard in the trailer was clearly Patrick Stewart, aka Professor X, from the Fox version of the X-Men. So at least one of the M's is finally coming off the vision board and into the MCU, but Mephisto? I think it's time to let it go, my fellow nerds. We have memed Mephisto to such a degree that not even Kevin Feige can salvage the character now. Or can he? No, don't do it, Jacques. Don't do it to yourself. A mutant or all of the mutants are probably going to have some presence in Doctor Strange, but it's time to let Mephisto go. He's not even that great of a villain. He's not one of the secret characters in the trailer, and he's not going to be played by Al Pacino. Besides, co-writer dislikes Mephisto and Marvel Comics EVP Joe Quesada because they were the driving force behind the worst Spider-Man storyline ever put to paper, One More Day. So let's do a hard pass on the hard pass and say that this week's hard pass actually belongs to Mephisto and Quesada. We welcome the mutants with open arms, but more like Dave Chappelle doing Rick James and less about the Journey song. All right, that's going to do it for the show. Thank you guys for watching Hard Pass. I am Jacques Slade. I'll see you next week, but not before you leave you with another listener Hard Pass.
Yo, it's your boy on IG at clegg.jpg. Yo, we've discussed this how many times now? Pre-order systems. Nike keeps saying that they're going to turn around and fix botting. Meanwhile, you have Instagram and TikTok showing people how to get reps easier more and more with each day. We have to reach a breaking point. At what point are these companies going to turn around and understand that people are capable of getting what they want? Do they want to get paid for it or not?
Yo, if you would like to possibly be featured in a future episode, call us at 818-493-9325. Leave a short message, your socials if you want, no more than 30 seconds or so, and you might be featured in a future episode. I'll see you next week. Peace. Oh, if you're wondering if we forgot to cover Ye and Donda 2 and whatever Yeezys and MP3 players he sold at the show, we didn't forget. We're over here just watching Genius. Missing the old Kanye.